Test 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1. Yeah, sounds like the sound is good. It's always does that. Drives me crazy. It drives my wife crazy. Yeah, drives her crazy. So normally it's like that because we don't use it. She just unplugs it because and there's no turning the flashing light up, which is kind of ridiculous. I don't know why, but anyway, it is what it is. Let's see if we can get a bit of better lighting. Okay, there we go. It's supposed to be a sunny day today. I don't know what's going on. It was beautiful yesterday, just beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, one of those things. Terry Garr, yeah. I put that up I because I want people to just use it like it's a short clip. I think it's less than 10 seconds, so I don't get a I think there's a time limit you get for content for copyright. Like if you use clips that are a certain length, they don't really care, but because it doesn't really do anyway. I don't know. There's so many stupid rules on the YouTube world and copyright rules and how things work in the world. I don't even know how to begin. Beautiful day here, supposed to be. We've got that that low cloud, nothing really going on. It's warm, it's nice. If I go outside the ground, I'm having an okay time on the grass. The earth is still warm, it's still doing its laws of thermodynamics, and the ground is getting colder as the days progress. It doesn't absorb enough energy from the sun, so it's starting to dissipate its heat. At one point, the ground will be cold. You know how it is. It gets to that certain point, and then, oh, guess what? Snow can stay. Yeah. Yeah, it's beautiful out for the trees and that. Yeah, the hair's getting long. I got to do something with the bangs. It's driving me crazy because it gets in my eyes. So I was out firefighting last night. I was had my helmet on, and it was pushing all my hair down like this, and I was just like, ah. Anyway, it is what it is. Get a little trim going. I'm just letting it grow out, just for a little while. Beard growing out, coming along nicely. I'm happy. Getting the beard going. not much. Not I'm gonna go to Ecuador, and then once I'm in Ecuador, it's gonna go bye bye probably. It's gonna be hell in Ecuador with too much hair and too much beard. It'll just I don't know if you can look back to the videos way back. I think the way back machine about 8 years ago when I had my beard in Ecuador. I mean, I had bugs in it, like, because you'd go to the beach and I'd be like laying in the sand and I'd have sand and then sand fleas would get in it. So I'd be sitting there later on and shit would be crawling around in my beard. And, you know, it's not, well, anyway, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. It's just one of those things. But I hope you're doing well, Archie. It seems to be just you and I, and we will get going, I guess. Wow, it's been what did we talk about last week? Wantonness, disintegration of the social condition, labeling people, blah blah blah, and we are doing that big time. It's getting worse and worse. We're in a time where we're looking to point the finger at certain things that are the problem when it's really not the problem. I was watching a video this morning. If you want to believe in channeling or whatever, but she had some good words to talk about resonating in a positive attitude, because like when I blew up my gut 1,000 years ago, I was sour. I was inviting all that sour stuff into my stomach, and I was clenched over, and I got my gut blew up. I had a diverticulitis and I had to go get surgery. Anyway, I'm not going to argue the pros and cons. I'm trying to resonate in the positive frequency and know that if I'm to change anything, I have to change this first and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, I that's why I put Trump on Rogaine, and I just take it piss on his name because it's Rogan, I know, but Rogaine, ha ha ha, he's got no hair, ha ha ha, whatever, you know. Um, we can talk about that. I'm of the opinion that I'm of the opinion that November 5th won't really. It'll be remember the 5th of November, but it's going to be like the last time. There will be a carryover, and it'll just get more people's stomachs sour. It'll get people's hackles up, and it's just going to be a more of a of a of a division, in my opinion, if you can even divide it any more than it is already. I mean, I was speaking to a human, like a person. I was doing some work downtown, and I was out, doing some work, and I was cleaning around an apartment complex, and doing my slave duties. And of course, one of the patrons, or one of the tenants, sorry, okay, cleaning, whatever, and then it went right to the orange man bad. I don't know how it got there. Like, I'm sweeping up leaves and acorns or whatever, chestnuts, horse chestnut tree chestnuts, which nothing eats. So you got to get rid of them. But what I noticed is that that it was parroting. It was immediate parroting of the MSM narrative. We had a bit of a situation here with a atmospheric river, all these phrases that people latch onto, myself included. I like catchphrases, they do work sometimes. But immediately what I noticed is that what was coming out of their mouths was not an independent thought whatsoever. It was not an independent thought whatsoever. And then it like because what I do is I try and just not deflect or distract, but just curb. Would that be a good word? Curb the narrative, in a sense that I would say, yeah. In 10 years ago, we used to call those, really wicked thunderstorms or really wicked storms, and now they've got this fear porn in the narrative. I'm not talking about, whatever, but that there's this fear porn in the narrative. that it gets people like, we're all going to die type narratives, right? So, and then if for some reason, then I went to curb it to, yeah, like, and then I, talked about North Carolina, Helene, and I got the big question mark over the head just appeared, over their head, because it's not getting any news. But it was, I think I said like orders of magnitude, worse than, yeah, we had some localized flooding in the lower mainland, and the media, right? They're going to show that river going down the street. Meanwhile, the street right over there is fine. So, just trying to curb it. Then it went to the Orange Man bad. And then it was like, wow. So when I think about November 5th and I think about the after November 5th party, the tailgate party, the election tailgate party that will ensue afterwards, I'm like, wow. The what is right here? The brainwashing is, it's done. It's formidable. Yeah. Yeah, I will probably watch it. I don't know, at Friday, right? So yeah, I'm the missus is at work. I'll have time, so I'm probably going to watch it. I'll watch it live or whatever. I don't know, Archie. If you have a link that would help me out, so that I don't, like, if you're going to watch it on a certain thing, that that I don't have to go find, because there will be those people that will, the grifters that will be dogpiling, and they'll be trying to make money off of Rogain's words, right? So there's tons of those. There's tons of like Thomas Sowell, like wonderful guy. I think they caught on. The grifters caught on to Thomas Sowell, and now there's a whole bunch of channels that just do clips of his stuff, and then they grift off of whatever he's done, and then they just make the dollars and the Benjamins off of that, the boards and the Benjamins. So if you can find me a link, send me a link. I'd really appreciate that. But what I see coming after the selection, election, whatever you want to call it, because they're already pimping in the narrative that's just not going to be decided right away. It's not going to be decided even here with the election that we just had. Albeit they were really close. So there's rules and regulations that if it's this close, we have to go to a recount. We have to do this, that, and the other. But it really didn't matter. The socialists got back in, and nothing is going to happen, and nothing is going to change for us. So yeah. So I'll just go to the Joe Rogan show, I guess, or whatever, wherever that is, because I don't listen to him anymore. I listen to some of the snippets of some of the things that he has, but I don't listen to Joe Rogan. I don't listen to Neil Oliver. I do not listen to JP Peterson or what's that guy named? The guy, the Peterson, Dr. Peterson, the doctor, I won't say your pronouns. I don't listen to anything anymore. I read and I try and formulate my own opinion. But I'm not going to troll or say Jordan Peterson. There you go. I'm not going to say anything negative, because they've got their own demons. They've got their own things to deal with in their own life. I've got my own things to deal with in my own life. This is just me and you and others, the three people that are here this morning. Hi, Mom. And the maybe the AI bot. So it's Archie, my mom, and the AI bot that are watching the channel right now. Chime in if you'd like to, Mr. AI bot, if you're there. I'm just teasing, of course, but what I've noticed about our little shit sandwich up here is that we had the celebration. Sorry, that's the wrong word to choose. We had the anniversary of the 10-year crazy person who went and shot up Parliament and murdered that young reservist. And then that got me thinking about Denny Lortie. Archie, that was your time demographic. You probably, because you were in New York and Quebec is right across the border, so they might even have reported on it when Denny Lortie stormed the Quebec Parliament and then shot up all those people and murdered 3 of them. And guess what? I just went to check on him. He's out. That situation happened in 1984. He was paroled in 1996 after having murdered 3 people. And he's out. He's married, and I don't know what he's doing, but it's like it's amazing how we forget or we just move on so quickly. I don't know if we're supposed to remember or if it doesn't really matter, but this another thing that yeah, 12 years. Yeah, and I went to the wiki, I go there for the, it gives you the facts. So I went there, and it said that he was given life without the possibility of parole for 10 years. Now, look. Meanwhile, I think that if I were to look up Hennessy and Cheeseman, the two bonehead, I shouldn't even use that word. I apologize. The 2 individuals that were caught up in the Jimmy Roscoe thing, where the 4 RCMP members were murdered in Alberta, if I'm not mistaken. I think they're still serving, and they didn't do. They didn't pull a trigger. They were just like, they drove him there, and they were accessories after the fact. But and then you look at stuff like the Karla Homolka with the Bernardo thing. This is just all talking about our legal system. We don't have there is no such thing as a justice. I don't know why they even call it justice, because it's a system of legalese where people with my lord, my lady, and with white things on with nice frilly black jackets, and they argue back and forth, and then it should be called an appeasement system or whatever, because I can promise you that from what I gleaned from the Denny Lortie thing is that the families of the victims who actually got murdered, are pretty pissed off. Bernardo's still in jail, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that. He could have been released last week. I don't know. I haven't checked on it in a while, but I know that Homolka, name change, the whole 9 yards, married again, had children. Like, I don't know if it was her sister or her cousin or whatever, but it was heinous. Like whatever they did or didn't do or whatever. I'm not going to argue that point, but what I'm saying is that like our system is completely bankrupt, flawed, ridiculous, corrupt. You can pick a whole raft of words if you want, but unfortunately it's a system that we've been given. It's a system that we all voted on, and that's what we go with. My answer is the wrong answer because, like I've always said before, I'm just too militant. I'm too black and white. I don't have a gray bone in my body. Yeah. Yeah, like I'll give you just a monetary system legal lawyer thing. When the insurance companies were stealing from veterans and such like that way back when, and da 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 d. Okay, and I'd been paying this and that, and I was supposed to be paid out, and turns out, we'll do. So they basically what they did was they stole, or they just did not pay out. So there was a class action lawsuit, and they were found guilty, and they had to pay out, but the lawyers got half the money. How does that work? And when it comes to, it's like the pharmaceutical thing, with that painkiller documentary. Buddy got, yeah, but it just keeps rolling over. It's like when I remember this when I used to work in Montreal before I got into the military full time. I was a reservist at first, and I worked for this guy. And when I was working for him, I noticed that this was his second or third kick at the cat with a new business. And then I went off in the military, and came back to Montreal for a visit or something. So I went and looked. Oh, the business is closed. And then he had moved on to another. Like he was 4 and 5 businesses down the road, bankruptcies, and just rolling it over into one to the next to the next to the another. And I was like, wow, like because he knew the system, he knew how to play it, and he knew how to do whatever he had to so that it would just go from one restaurant to another to another to another to another to a buyout to another as you go on forever. So, so it's on us to be resonating in our own system and be positive in our own selves, because if you're looking to be saved, if I can use that term, it's all on you. So nobody's going to come like that. What's going on in North Carolina? When push comes to shove, it's good neighbors and everything coming together for each other. So that's the way I see it. That's just my take. How's the feed? It's jittering. You're not getting the spinning wheel of death, I hope, because I just lost everybody, all 3 of you. So anyway. So, Denny Lortie's out. It's been a long time since that happened. 10 years since the thing at Parliament in Canada. And I only bring that up because there was a video, some guy, and of course the MSM legacy media here in Canada, some guy tried to get into Parliament. They didn't say why or what or whatever. It wasn't a guy with a weapon. It was just a guy this is what it looked like to me. It looked like some guy was trying to I'm going to arrest the prime minister. One of those things, like I'm going to go in with all my bag of papers that I've made and signed and gotten affidavits, and he's broken the law. So I'm going to do a citizen's arrest on the prime minister of Canada or whatever. Because it looked like he had a bag of paper and he was trying to get into the Parliament. And of course, there's like a wall of blue. No, sir, you will be trespassed, sir. You will be arrested, sir. And then it goes off. And then, of course, it's the anniversary of the 10-year remembrance of the when the crazy person. He was obviously suffering from mental health. Oh, a little glitchy, eh? Okay. Anyway, and he went in there, and then the RCMP dispatched him immediately. Obviously, it was. Anyway, I don't know what we wanted to make of it, but what I noticed is they put that in the media. That was a story, and then there was other stories around it. Not, that was a story in its own self, but there was all the ex-policeman giving his take on and all that did was there's no way that you're going to get close to Parliament now. It's not going to happen. Unless you're like, hi, I'm here to do a positive story, or you're with the main players, CBC, CTV, Global, CP24, all of the narrative pushers. If you're rebel media, which I'm not a fan of, don't get me going on them. But if you're not asking any questions, you'll be ignored, or you'll be like the stooge, or I shouldn't even use that term. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but the guy who doesn't mind getting roughed up, the redheaded old guy, David Menzies or whatever his name is. And you get every once in a while he tries to ask Trudeau a question, and Trudeau's entourage just like escort him to the side of the building. And and then it's all over, but the crying, but nothing ever comes of it anyway. But yeah, unless you're part of the game, you're not going to be part of the game, right? So that's just how it goes. So we can talk about the selection down in Americaville. We can talk about that. What I notice is this is my opinion only. And this is my opinion only. That I know that the narrative is saying that it's going to go this way, but I'm of the opinion that It will not go the way. This is why I formulated this opinion, because in my opinion, the left will go more crazy than the right. Now, I don't know if that's by design. I can tell you what, if Orange Man Bad wins, the screaming that you heard before last time will be amplified. It'll be it'll be wow. It'll be over the top, in my opinion, if it just doesn't go absolutely batshit crazy. Now, and if I can take anything from what I've seen on the other side, if Ms. Harris, the Jamaican Indian, wins, it will be there will be a lot of talk afterwards, but I see it being more reasonable unless something is ready to go. And that's my own take. That's my opinion only. Yeah, it'll be contested for months, but either way, no matter what happens, unless a third party comes out of the woodwork and says, no, we've elected Mr. Dress Up, or, neither one of them won. It's this guy, it's none of the above one. Neither side is going to accept the results. Neither side is going to be happy with the results. But I'm of the opinion, and this whole video is all opinion, conjecture, speculation, hyperbole, blah, blah, blah. There's, don't send me your kids' college fund. Don't thumbs up this video. I don't care if it gets out in the algorithm. That it'll just go. Neither one will accept it. And I'm of the opinion that one side will be more gracious than the other. Now, we could argue back and forth the pros and cons of hitchhiking. Yeah, yes. I would love to, for it to go quietly into that good night. A little bit of bitching and moaning, which will always happen, But I don't want to see any, okay, there will not be one of those things that happened back in the old times when the North went against the South. I do not believe that. First and foremost, it would be playing into the hands of those who are waiting with their new toys. I've been in the military. What you see is not what we have. I'm sure there's a warehouse full of robots ready to go. I'd bet money on it. Now, I'm not going to argue whether it's going to work or not. I'm just saying that it would play into the hands. It would have to be something really organic. I don't even see how it would happen. Life has become too soft and too easy. What? I just can't. It just doesn't make any sense. Really? A division so bad that we've got the North and the South going at it. I just, different times back then, I don't see it happening. I just can't see it happening. And who's going to do it? If you look at the demographic of the population, even up here, I went through, just do numbers in my head, and I'm like, who's ready to fight? Who's strong enough? Yeah, that would be good. Something happened. Gonna have to, stay home, and then the apparatchik will just, or the apparatus, sorry, will just be ready to go so that they can, because most people would adhere, and the few isolated things that do happen could be quelled immediately. All those kids are playing hockey, better go get them. I just can't see it happening. It would have to be it would have to really go to 11 almost immediately. It couldn't be it would have to go to 11 almost immediately, where the people who are supposed to be putting out all these fires will be putting out their own fires and not worried about what else is burning, if I can use that as a metaphor. I really want to pick my words carefully, because I know that I'm not here to incite, because I'm not one of the, I can't say things that other selected people can say. No, I don't think it will. I can't see it happening. I just cannot see it happening. Life has become too easy, too soft. For myself, like for myself included, like I get a pension from the government. I did my service. I got my wooden sword. So after my service to the emperor, I was given my farm and my wooden sword, and I get a little stipend from the empire. And if the empire goes bye-bye and they're all fighting over everything else, then yeah, I don't get my stipend. So, so I just and all the the guys I see on with their guns and their beans and in their houses in the bush by themselves and stuff like that, just saying, get ready, 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 every day, get ready, get ready, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Yeah, you're gonna go nuts on your own, because if there's nobody for you to make videos for, so that you can, so that people can go like your video or whatever, there's nothing left. You just left your own devices, man. Hey, look, I'm gonna have a meeting this afternoon with like-minded people. We're gonna talk about things. We're gonna discuss about being malleable, but thinking about, like, I don't have children. Mine are 30 plus, so I don't have any chitlins or grandchitlins, but these guys have young children, and but it will be a community thing where we have to band together to protect the community, this community, not unlike what, if you want to look at the Stand as an example, like the Gary Sinise one, that's the one I look at, or the book where they were in Boulder or whatever, that place in Denver or whatever, and they just wanted to have a good community, and just because if the shit does go bad or go sideways, yeah, because people will be trying to eat each other. Yeah, a strong community is the only way you're going to go forward, and it'll have to be like-mindedness, you know. Isolationists, or people pointing the finger. Of course there will be a minor cleansing, of course, because how it is, right? Not everybody wants to be on board, but there's the highway, there's the exit. Go to Vegas, head on over. I'm being really simplistic and assholishness on that, but that's just my take. But it'll only be community. There will not be a brother on brother. I just can't see it happening. I just cannot see it happening. Same thing with the big. Everybody's talking about the big conflict coming, and I'm like, yeah, okay. I think we're being played for suckers again. I think what would happen would be there would be a limited excursion. There would be a limited something or other that would be blown out of proportion and then quelled, and then whatever new system has to roll out after that. Now I'm not gonna, but there again, it's on us. Like if there was a big enough conflict that it would affect us, the food trucks stopped running because that happened or whatever, then it still comes back to community, and we'll sort it out afterwards. There's no I've already got my beans, but I know that's for sharing, because I know others do not have. I just hope that and that I'm able to walk the walk and not just talk the talk after the fact. That's all I hope for. I trust in the source. I trust in the creator, that if I can draw from that, and then others can draw from that as well, than hope. Is that a good word? Not hopium. Like I read online, they've all been arrested and it's all actors. Yeah, no, fuck that. Sorry, it ain't that. If that's, yeah, exactly, exactly, very important. You know, if you've taken care of this, and that that this won't work, or this won't work, or this won't work. Well, we could try this, or we could try this, and there's other like-minded people. Then yeah, then there is no, there is no chewing and razor blade in the corner. You know, I hope that I can be that person. That's all I can ask for, is that I hope, you know, I don't know. I'm watching The Chosen. We're watching The Chosen. We're catching up. Season 4. I do love that show. There's a lot I disagree with, of course, but I do love the show, because it does, spread the message of hope. So anyway, I just thought I'd add that. It's not bad. It's good acting. It's pretty funny in some spots. It's because it's in today's language, in a sense that it's in today's language. The Chosen. It's a show about the Christ Jesus. Yeah, it's a show about the Christ Jesus. About well, we all know how it ends. Yeah, but it's just the like in one show, I'll just describe this, like, and that's why I like to do things for others without asking for money, because and it was brought up in the show, like, he tells two of the dudes, he says, "Hey man, I want you to go do this," and they're like, "What? Go do this." So they go and they plow a guy's field, and then it comes down that the guy was a turd or whatever, but and they're like, "We don't," and he says, "No," because it seemed to roll over, because the guy that was a turd realized, da 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 da, and that something good was done for him when he was doing something bad. It's some messages, right? So that's why I like to volunteer my time, to give of myself, because I feel that helps me be a better person. And because it's not always about the Benjamins and the Bordens. I had the Patricia who lived across the street, and then Joy, who's like in her 80s. They can't mow their lawn. What did it cost me to mow their lawn for them? Nothing. An extra hour of my life. But they didn't have to almost have a heart attack or pull their back or whatever, because and then that's it. I don't want anything. I don't need anything from you, because I can do it. I'll do it. Now, it doesn't mean I can mow all the lawns. Doesn't mean I can, gonna just give of myself until my family starves. Of course not. But I feel that stuff like that. Well, it's set in Jesus's time. It's the way they speak to each other. It's not like you're reading out of the Bible and you're like, "Those thou shalt," blah. It's more like, "Hey, bro," and that kind of, when I say, because if you've read the Bible like I have a zillion times, actually that's not true, but 3 or 5 times, it's hard to read, because a lot of it is like, it's metaphors, and it's funny, because it's because I think they're portraying Matthew as partially autistic, or some kind of weird ism that he has, but and he's trying to learn metaphors, and it's pretty. I don't know. Yeah, it does help. Keep it simple, and the message doesn't get lost in all the gobbledygook, right? So I give it a shot. If you get a chance to watch it, give it a shot. Some of it's pretty funny, and if you've read your Bible and your New Testament, you'll be like, "Oh, okay, I remember that story. Oh, okay, I remember. Okay, that's what it meant," or that's what they're trying to tell you what it meant, or what, it might come to you on your own. I don't know. But I enjoy it. I can watch it. The actors are fairly okay. The guy who portrays Jesus is pretty good. The Christ Jesus. That's another thing that bothers me. His name wasn't, like my name is my name. It's not. That's not his name. That's his name. But he's trying to be what God wants us all to be, is for the Christ to come out of all of us, Be good to your fellow man, blah, blah, blah. I could be, these are my own words, eh? My own words, I will look for Trump and Rogaine on Friday. Just I will just shift gears completely. I had this written down. The Solar Max, and they're pimping the Solar Max. Got a big sunset. Sun just went wee, flatline. We had all those big flares. Now it's flatline again, and I'm of the opinion that I really hope it's, if anything does happen. Pardon my coffee burp and coffee gas. Oof. That it's something out of our control. That it's celestial. It's solar system wide. That it puts us all in an even keel. I would love that. If we can be put on an even an even keel. If we could be put on the same playing field, where you're naked, and I use that in not realistically, but everything has been removed from you. Like when I argue back and forth with people, it's like, what needs to happen. I think it was Trading Places. What's the best thing to do to the rich? Make them poor. Put them down so that they've got to be more humble or more giving or more blah blah. If you're stripped of everything and you're naked, you're going to band together because you're naked. And that's why I always laugh. You got two guys who are really getting at each other. Take all their clothes off and make them fight naked, and then see how it goes. It's going to be a different fight because they're naked. That sounds stupid, but that's just my 2 pennies. No. We are in the bush here. We have very few electric vehicles, but I have taken the course for electric vehicle fire. And the takeaway I get from that is, and these are my own words, and I don't want anybody to, I listened to a volunteer firefighter from Pig's Knuckle Nowhere, and he told me to do this. This is not advice. This is what I take away from my course that I had about electrical vehicle fires, is that copious amounts of water, and you're not going to do anything anyway because it's going to burn. Copious amounts, like it's just going to have and when I say copious amounts of water, I know that not salt water, but because you hear about all the vehicles being under flooding or getting wet, and then there's fires ensuing. We're still virginal in our knowledge about the electrical vehicles now. I don't think that I think we went too fast, too quickly with those vehicles. I don't think sorry, my little OSHA root is stuck in my cheek. I have a little bit of a throat. I think we're in our infancy, or those things were put out to be hated and to not work so that we can go to the next thing. There's something way better. I know that. I was looking at hydrogen. I was looking into hydrogen technology and hydrogen fuel cells. But if you think back to around World War II, you remember that, Archie? That great movie? It was actually a real event, and they made a movie out of it with George C. Scott. And, it was a great, we all knew the ending, like the Titanic. But guess what happened after that? Hydrogen travel really went into the toilet, n'est-ce pas? And now, yeah. I mean, it scares the crap out of me too. And if you can think about the incident that happened in Lebanon with the now, my brain went elsewhere when that happened, because I'm looking at things that are going on the planet right now that are not. Remember what I said? Something happens and a story ensues. Now, I don't know what happened. Something happened and a story ensued, and we said, aha, we set you all up. And, like the slaughter bots, little mini, device, and boom, and okay, it's plausible, probable, and possible. It does pass the 3 Ps. How about this? And this is right out of my ass. Whoop, here it comes. It was something else. It wasn't exactly something that goes bang, but that device was able to go bang being influenced by something else. That's it. That's my take. Let's pretend. We'll just play the let's pretend game, or let's say, game that there's a Blofeld laser in space. Just pulling that out of my ass again. This is a story. I'm just going all there. I'm talking out of my ass. Love doing that. It's fun because then you just, your ass says all kinds of things. Ask Ace Ventura. Oh, solo mio. So that we have the Blofeld laser rotating around, and then it makes a frequency. It makes a something. Could have been the sun, but then it would have affected the whole planet. I'm of the opinion that, not the opinion, but why not? It can pass the 3 Ps. So something changes in the way the zeros and ones line up. And the zeros and ones aren't zeros and ones right now, they're threes. And then that allowed it to happen. That's complete right out of my ass. So it had nothing to do with that, but it's a plausible, possible, probable, not probable. Okay, it can be, yeah. But the other one that does pass the 3 Ps, that this company was contracted by this company, it's the same as, what happened back in September of 2001, somewhere between the 10th and the 12th. And then we have something happened, and a whole bunch of fucking stories ensued after that one. Right? Right. And you've got them all. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. But then people go to Occam's razor. Well, I'll go with that. I'll go with the theory of evolution. That's good for me. I'm good. I'm done. No, it wasn't this. No, it wasn't that. I'll go with this. Hey, great. Fine. That's fine. Fine. No problem. No problemo. I don't have a problem with that. Oh, let's just talk about silver and gold, silver and gold. That's my best impression of Burl Live song from Reindeer, the night, was it Rudolph? Yeah. Yeah, very interesting. But I believe that we're being played again, because if I remember the last time when the experts were talking about those two items, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, now it's going to go to 500, whereas the last time it happened, it was going to go to 200. They just keep, as time progresses. Well, I guess it's like Goldmember or the Austin Powers thing, and he said $2 million, and they're all laughing. What's wrong? Well, $2 million. I could go down the street and win a lotto ticket. 200 billion. So, yeah. So they had to up the value, but I don't believe that. And once again, I think it's just playing on people's emotions, and it's especially the ones that are beholden to the Bordens and the Benjamins, and want to preserve their wealth or whatever. Take care of your health. That's than your wealth. That should be a rhyme. It should be on a T-shirt. Take care of your health, not your wealth. Fine, I did it first before RFK. So yeah, but oh hey, what did you think about Orange Man at the McDonald's? Archie, what did you think about that? I found that so funny. But I love McDonald's French fries. Yeah, yeah. And there again, I have the shiny silver-looking objects uh, because I've always had them. I've always, the other ones are too expensive, but those ones are really cool and they're bigger and they're. I like giving them out as gifts too, like especially like if you go to Ecuador. Fuck, I handed out a whole bunch one year. Like just went around and just like any one of the places I would go. Hola, ¿qué pasa? I'm back. And then I would, how have you been? Here's my gift to you. And they'd be looking at it. I said, you can cash it in. It's worth like back then, I think, I don't remember when I was giving them out. It was $20 or something, $25. But it's just more of a, it's a nice shiny thing to have on your, oh yeah. And that's what I wrote. I said, if I can take away anything from this man knows how to market. And boy, I made it on a CTV because CTV had a thing on it, eh? And boy, did I get dogpiled. A lot of AI bot comments, but some real comments about, and I was like, wow, it's like, but what, come on, look, from whomever's here and whomever's was born in the 60s, maybe the 50s, maybe the 40s, and has seen this guy way back before there was these things and before there was cable TV even. Well, cable right at the beginning. He's a marketer, like sell. He knows. Yes, of course. And people are all, like surprised. Really? Really? You're surprised about that? It's like I mean, she should have learned how to use a shovel, but when they do that, what's the movie? The Dead Zone, the movie, not the book, but in the movie, the guy who's supposed to, I think it's Martin Sheen, and if my memory serves, they're going to be the president candidate, Stillman, and he knew how to play to the working man. He wore the blue hat, not the white hat. He wore the blue hat, blah, 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 blah. I know it's only a fucking movie, but we're living in a fucking movie. And this is how we're treating our lives, as a fucking movie. Pardon my French. This video is not for children. Am I going to do the George Carlin? But that's what it is. So yeah, he pulled a George Stillman. Now, I'm of the opinion that if he does get in, I think things will be more stable on this marble. That's my opinion. But if you're to listen to like when I listened to that person when I was cleaning up, and it's right into the white supremacy. It's like, wow, really? No. Anyway. I don't have the answer. Yep, Dead Zone was a Stephen King novel. I read all of his books before any of the movies came out. I was a rabid, like when I first, when I came in on myself and I started reading, the Clive Cusslers, the Kurt Vonnegut's, the Stephen Kings, any mystery, Rebecca Forsyth, or any of those. Anyway, because look, we didn't have television like they have today. Nobody fucking reads anymore. I noticed that. I'm reading the Paul Davies book, the last 3 minutes. Yeah, my first Stephen King book, if memory serves, was Firestarter. Michael Crichton, yes, of course. I was a big Kurt Vonnegut fan, Clive Cussler fan. Anything mystery and Ancient Aliens and Iceberg, Clive Cussler, Sirens of Titan, Malachi Constant, That's why my name on Rumble is Slaughterhouse Five. I really love that book. I love those, and then it'll translate into movies like Christopher Reeve and Jane Seymour, Somewhere in Time, when you know I don't know, but yeah, that was Stephen King. Dead Zone, great book, great. The movie was okay because it stayed true to the yeah. I found that the Dead Zone, like I did not like Christine the movie. I was, because they started coming out. Firestarter, the movie was shit too, as well, in my opinion. The Dead Zone was good. I find The Stand, the Gary Sinise one. I tried to watch the one on Netflix. Shit canned it after the first, I don't know, 15 minutes. I don't know. I can't remember. But books never really translate it when they tried to translate that to screen. Now I watched the uh, Tim Curry version, not the new one. Now, so don't I can't. But the book was excellent. But that book was so yeah, and that's another reason. How you almost ruined Star Trek. If that were to happen today, she would have ruined Star Trek. But I don't know how the F she got on that show. I don't know what picture she had of whomever doing something to get on that show. I don't know what they were thinking. But anyway, I can actually watch her in that show if I can remove all of the garbage because she's gone bonkers. I can watch that show today. Oh, it's Guinan. But yeah, the it could not translate to, like, if you look at some of the passages in the book, not going to happen. You're going to have to write that whole section out, please and thank you. But yeah, books don't translate to like Hitchhikers, because of the technology, so you can make all the visual stuff. Yeah, okay. Lord of the Rings. I read all the Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. No, Pet Sematary was shit. Pet Sematary was shit. I think they changed some things in it too, if I'm not mistaken. But back then, after Christine came out, I was done because it was they changed it so much. It was almost, because for my mind was in the book. So I as I was watching the movie, I was just like, what? I was lost in a sense. I was like, wait, what? And so I just said, fuck it, I'm out. I'm out. And then, of course, now they're trying to pimp it as one of the best Stephen King movies. Hey, great effects, I love the Fury, but the movie itself was shit. The book was fantastic, as most of his books are. Yeah, I tried to read the latest one, The Black House, but it was a regurgitation of, Kids in Jeopardy. It was basically, in my opinion, something like, what was that movie on, or the television series on, oh, fuck, it was on Netflix with the kid called 11. Oh, crap. Stranger Things. Great series, in my opinion. I really did enjoy it because I love that opening portals and, Stargate shit where you open a portal and you walk through and, oh, fuck, I'm in Rome. That would that would be intriguing. Unfortunately, I don't have my wife here. I should have plugged this in, but anyway, I'm good. We're gonna shit can the show. It's been an hour anyway, and I don't keep you guys more than an hour. Yes, the Talisman. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the Gunslinger, was that a Peter Straub collaboration? I'm trying to remember. I forget some of the books that I've got a whole wall of them, and I'm like, I read that, so I would have to go back and look at those. But we'll end the show on that, on Stephen King, and unfortunately, somebody's cheese has come off the cracker, You know, in my opinion, that's just my opinion. You know, I don't know what's going on there. Yeah. The Talisman, I've got. Yeah. Yeah. I'll have to go through my books again, you know. The Dark Dinar Kuntz, The Dark Place. Ooh, I love that book. Anyway, we're an hour. Next week I have to go to another city. My wife has to get her eyes checked, so there will be no show next Wednesday. Okay, I will try to do a video. I will see. Maybe I'll do a breakfast video, cook, and talk. But we'll see how it goes. So unfortunately, no show next Wednesday. Maybe I'll do it on Thursday, but I will try and put out a video before that because it's not the right time. Yeah, I love having you guys here. I'm sad that JC didn't show up and Retro wasn't here and Lawrence isn't around. You know, I do see people watch them after the fact. You know, it's always going to be the same time, same bat time, same bat channel. You know, so we can only hope for that. But thanks for coming out, Archie. I really appreciate interacting and I appreciate going back and forth. And you know, just you can pull me out of my own head sometimes too, right? And say something. So thank you so much for that. So. I will look for the Rogaine thing with Trumper. The brainwashing is strong in this one, and then you know we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes for next week. So and the selection is coming very soon. We're definitely going to do a show for that. You know, if we don't follow it live. I see Mr. Hexenhammer got arrested. We can talk about that. You know, so I just found that out a little while ago. I don't know if I mentioned that in the last show, but yeah. Anyway, when they get too big, hey, sometimes when your channel gets too big, careful. What did my mom always say? Careful what you wish for. Or don't tell all you know. You may be called on for an encore. Okay, we'll leave it with that. Great to see you guys. Do not thumbs up this video. You can if you want. Do not send me your college fund for your children. I don't need your money. I have a pension. Thank you very much. I will never beg for money. Okay? Have a great week too, Archie. Have a great weekend. Okay? I hope the weather lasts. Peace to all of you. And with that, peace, love, and grooviness. Thumbs up.